Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. This police department could be a model in how they handle racist cops on their force. But why are black people still a target? Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought, a comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments. So welcome. The Springfield, Illinois Police Department discovered a far-right almost Nazi racist cop on the force. And in my opinion, they handled it well. They did good. They dealt with the police officer, removed him from the force. I want to play a clip that was featured on the Morning Joe NBC show of this police chief explaining what he did. Now, after that, I want to also say why black people are still a target, even though this police chief did the right thing. Now, it's not what you think, because I think what he did is a model for all police departments. Why you see a lot of people go through or argue and debate about police reforms, all this kind of stuff. The first line of defense is police departments themselves being proactive. And I think the Springfield Police Department so far is doing that. But I want to explain why black people will still be a target. But let's play the clip. Let me go bring up my screen here. And this is, as I said, this is a clip featured on the Morning Joe television show. So let's play it. Where are we at here?
For 2.5 years after the January 6th insurrection, we continue to learn more about the unprecedented attack and the circumstances that led to it. That includes lifting the curtain on an alarming connection between far-right extremism and police officers around the country. Last year, as the Washington Post reports, the Springfield, Illinois Police Department faced an internal reckoning when it came to light that one of their own was spouting white supremacist beliefs online. After those internet posts came to light, the officer was placed on unpaid leave and later resigned. Meanwhile, the Springfield Police Chief, Ken Scarlett, faced the difficult task of rebuilding trust between the community and his department. And Chief Ken Scarlett joins us now. Thank you very much for being on this morning. So tell us a little bit about how it came to light that you had an officer who was spouting these extreme beliefs online in your department.
Yeah, well, first, let me say thanks for having me, Mika. It's a pleasure to be a part of the show, and it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to share my experience so that others may learn from it. So, again, I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it was April 1st of 2022. Was just shy of 6 weeks into my chiefship, if you will, of the Springfield Police Department. Although I'd been a member of the agency for 23 plus years at the time, I was only chief for 6 weeks when I received a call from, at that time, my deputy chief, letting me know that a news story had just broke over the internet, and we were becoming aware of what potentially would become a major incident within our agency.
So, Chief.
Now, let me just say this. I want you to take note that this police chief was a member of the Springfield Police Department for 23 years before he took the position. So my question would be, how did he not know that this racist cop was on his force? My opinion, he did know. And I think what happened was that the news story broke. But let's continue.
Tell us more then. This is an 18-year officer, a veteran of the police force there, somebody who was respected on the police force, respected in the community.
Well, why is he respected? So and so we could ask a legitimate question. did change really happen? Now, I think it did, but what I want to say is that there's something deeper, that this guy was on the force for 18 years. Okay.
What did you learn on that phone call, and what was your first reaction? What did you know you had to do?
Well, what I learned was that the gentleman who worked for our agency, who I thought I knew, also the gentleman who was a part of the United States military and the National Guard for 20 years, who individuals in his branch of service thought they knew, was not who we.
How did they not know? Did he not ever talk about racist things? Did he not ever speak about someone of another color in a disparaging way? You see, I highly doubt that. I manage a staff that's mostly white, and I know what they think. My philosophy is they do their work, they respect me. But make no mistake about it, I know how they feel when it comes to race. Let's take a look.
We were dealing with. What was uncovered was over 50,000 different posts over the course of several years of hate speech towards the Jewish community, the African American community, the LGBTQ community. So, yeah.
So with that many posts, 50,000. Now let me just say this. I'm in a unique position as a manager, that they do their work. I don't care about their personal life. This is a police officer that serves the community. They're out interacting with the very people. And think about this. 50,000, 50,000 texts. 50,000. So my point is, when they say they thought they knew, they knew. They knew. Here we go.
Yes, it was extremely disturbing to me as the new police chief, and I knew I had to do the right thing, and the right thing was very simply that this gentleman was no longer going to be in a capacity where he could serve and protect the citizens of Springfield.
And I commend him for this. This is where I commend him, that at least they did the right thing. And I'll say again that this becomes an example for all police departments, that they could be proactive, that they can make the first move and the first steps to correct. And my thing is, I'm not saying even trying to change a way a person thinks, but simply say, if you are going to serve, you need to serve fairly. And if you're discovered not to, you're going to be dealt with as they dealt with this guy. Let's continue.
Chief, do you recommend, therefore, based on your own experience, that there be some way that it is mandated from a federal position that all municipalities, cities, etc., have to have a real level of scrutinizing who's on the force? Because if you have people like in your case that are openly and adamantly anti-Semitic, anti-black, I mean, how can you put them out there to serve the public when they have these very bigoted and biased views? And shouldn't we have that at a federal level where it's not optional per county, per city, per state?
Now, before he answers that, I'm going to say, this is like an ask and answered. I'm going to also say, how could he can't speak for other counties or cities. He can only speak for his own city and what he's doing right now. Now, as far as the other, and I think it's a legitimate question, how can he put them out on the street? And I'm going to say that's a good point because, like I say, I think this chief already knew how this guy thought. He already knew. There were 50,000 texts. He didn't do that in a secret closet. You can't tell me that he was somewhere in a secret closet typing out text, and then when he came out of the closet, he was all GQ, smiles, and all that, and pretended to be something. No, I think he voiced his opinion. And I said, in of itself, I don't think that is the issue. But I think he could have probably said, hey, make sure you guys, when you are patrolling, that you are not, or let me put it this way, leave your own opinions at home. Here we go.
Well, thanks for the question, Reverend. I think it's important to understand, and it's a cliche, but I'm going to use it, that every good cop hates bad cops, right? And that's exactly what we have here. You know, there are over 650,000 law enforcement officers in this country who faithfully serve and protect their communities on a daily basis. And I think that's very important that the public recognizes that. And so what's transpired here in the state of Illinois as part of the Safety Act is a database, if you will, to register individuals who should not be police officers for various reasons, whether that be for a situation such as this, whether that be for a use of force scenario, for an arrest, whatever the case may be. And so to your point, there's one thing that I would like to see happen, and whether that's the state of Illinois or nationwide, is that individuals like this cannot bounce from department to department. This individual.
Now, that right there is an excellent point. This is called the certification. And what happens so many times, and this is why people like Al Sharpton need to be careful about what they ask for, because they may say, fine, you get the cop fired. And that cop may say, okay, fine, I'll resign. They either let him resign or they get fired, but they don't lose their certification. And so what do? They go to the next town. They go down to the next state and they get a job as a police officer. It happens all the time. Excellent point here.
Individual has no business ever stepping foot into the law enforcement realm again. And quite frankly, it's an embarrassment as a chief of police that there is someone like this who wore this uniform at one time.
So, Chief, this patrol officer had 18 years on the job. So I have a two-part question for you. One, were there many complaints, if any, against him filed during those 18 years? And two, the police union. Sometimes unions can be obstinate in their support of a patrol officer as opposed to the chief of police. How did you handle the police union?
Yeah, good question.
Now, before you answer that, let me say this. Police unions, the ones that we see mostly in the news, that are mostly that they have a tendency of excusing bad cops, are usually the forces in larger cities. So like New York, Chicago, LA, Detroit, so forth and so on. Springfield is the capital of Illinois. I know the city, I know it well. So it's a small town. Springfield itself only has about 115,000 people. And what makes it kind of a better city in that respect, it is the capital of Illinois. So the police union, where he's concerned, in and of itself is not the problem or issue. It's the ones in the larger cities that they stand by these racist criminal cops.
So let me start with the first part. So as part of the thorough and robust review process of former Officer Aaron Nichols, my internal affairs team really scoured through absolutely every body-worn camera video that we had, every traffic stop that he made that was recorded. And this individual was beyond professional. I think that was part of his persona, to act in such a fashion, not to let anyone into maybe his private life and his dealings. So no, we went through 18 years of his past. That includes the state's attorney's office reviewed every arrest report that he ever wrote, and there were no instances to where his ulterior motives ever shined through while he wore this uniform. Regarding the second part, I think it's important to establish, we do have unions in the state of Illinois. It's important to establish working relationships with your union leadership, which is something that I've strived to do here at the Springfield Police Department. I have a great working relationship with them. And when I brought them in and told them exactly what was transpiring, they were 100% on board that this individual had no business, again, wearing this uniform.
Springfield, Illinois, Chief of Police Ken Scarlett, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate your sharing that with us.
All right, I'm going to come out of this and I thought that was a great interview. I thought that was a great interview. Now, let me close out by saying why I think this is a model of what police departments should do. I think this is a model. If all police departments do this, we would be well on our way in solving a lot of the bad policing issues. Now, that said, uh, larger cities tend not to follow suit with this. New York, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Houston, we can go on and on. They tend not to follow this. As I said, Springfield is a smaller city. But if all police departments follow this example, we would be well on our way. And let me now say why black people, despite this, will still be a target. Because you see, black people or some black people, you still have to do right. See, the police problem, once you eliminate it, you still have people acting a fool. And you and the police will still do have to do their job. And they're still going to arrest you for acting a fool, for breaking the law. So the other side of this equation is now black people. Like, for example, if you're going through the city of Springfield, driving through Springfield. In fact, if you're driving down I-55, you drive right through it. If you get off and go through the city, behave yourself. Protect yourself by obeying the law. And that is still a big problem with black people who fall on the wrong side of the law. Your actions. Your actions. So why are black people still the target? Because they make themselves a target. If you're driving a car, make sure your license plate is up to date. Make sure you have insurance on your car. So that if you are a target for a racist police officer, make sure he doesn't have the goods to pull you over. He may pull you over, but if he doesn't have anything that's there, in other words, if he pull you over because your license plate is expired, he has you. If you're speeding, he has you. If you got a gun in your car, an unlicensed gun, he has you. Drugs, he has you. DUI, he has you. So in other words, black people, you have to stop making yourself a target. The police can do their part in straightening up, but frankly, they have job security. They have job security. All right, guys, that is my perspective. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. See you next time.